Up to village board meeting, and if you would all stand please with me for the pledge. Carl, would you lead us please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Be seated. Welcome everybody here tonight, those who are watching by way of the stream. Our first order on the evening is public comment. So the floor is now open for anyone who would like to address the board on any issue. It does not seem as if there's anyone who wishes to address the board. So, at this particular time, then I would close that portion of the meeting, public comment portion of the meeting. And we will move, well, first of all, I think that I would like to make mention of something that we had originally had scheduled for this evening, but we are going to postpone that until the next meeting. And that is because one of the, might call it chief engineers, is sick tonight and I would like him here to address any questions that you might have. However, you have in front of you or part of your packet a proposal by EYS Technologies and
AYS.
Excuse me, I apologize for that. They have provided some significant information regarding what they propose in terms of what they would do for the village. This is a proposal that is kind of for consideration for us to think about in terms of LMT. What LMT now is currently doing for us, and this service is would provide similar service to us. One thing that I would mention to you is that they are I think much closer. They actually have an office that is in sight of Village Hall on the north side of West Main Street. But they have provided this, and they will be here at our next meeting to answer any questions, to go through this with you. You can look at it and between now and then. And if you have any questions, you might wish to pass them on to a clerk or deputy clerk, and they will pass them on as well to the people for their response, okay? I personally have sat in and listened to them make a presentation to the clerk, to Heather, and also to Karen. I've asked them questions, but they need to come here and provide that to the board as well. So you have the information that was presented to the village in that meeting. Look it over, be familiar with it, and then they'll be here at the next meeting to answer questions.
And it doesn't look like it's a long-term agreement either. You can get out in
30 days.
Yes, I looked at some of those.
30 days.
So that's pretty good.
I looked through this and I question, does LMT provide these same services?
Yes,
Then why do they say in this that there's a lot of work that needs to be done?
because currently, I don't want to get too far into the weeds because it's probably better for them to explain it, but they explained that we might be being charged for things that maybe we don't need to be.
That's what I understood,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's a couple things that are redundant and what I like about this company is that they worked both for several different IT companies and they didn't like what they were seeing. they didn't like, hidden billing and things like that, so they formed a company to do what they thought was right. And, so we're really impressed with them so far. We like that they're local, and it's just a little bit more cost effective for us. And LMT is great, but it's just a little more than what we need, in my opinion.
So it's like your cell phone bill at home when there's like 34 lines that you don't know what
Yep.
they're charging you for.
Yeah, and
That's what they're not.
Exactly.
that is something that's been a concern, is that Karen has to go through it with a fine tooth comb and constantly finding some billing issues and being charged for things we just probably don't need.
So have you talked to them about that?
Yes, and everything that would be done, and Karen has gone back and forth with them probably 30 times. And they've been so patient, like, would this be charged, would this be charged? Because we've literally gone through the LMT bill, and we have a bank of time that is supposed to be covered. And they promised us that we would never go over it. We're going over it every single month. And then certain things don't even count toward that bank, it's just an extra fee. So we've been asking them, would this be an extra fee? They're like, nope, that's just part of your bank.
No, I meant, have you talked to LMC about it?
Drew, yes, many times.
And what do they say?
They just say, you're our only municipality, they have a lot of other bigger companies, and they just aren't willing to bend on their fee structure.
Is the contract up?
We don't have a contract, they just require 30 days notice. And their fees are unfortunately about to increase as well very soon, so we're trying to make the move sort of soon.
So already does the other company have to come on before you wait the 30 days? So
Yeah.
there's gonna be a cross of
There will be a little
both
overlap.
companies, a little overlap of costs, but you
Yes.
can't, so,
And
makes sense.
Does LMT remove all their equipment then, and then,
we own everything.
We own our equipment.
Yep, we
what
own
do
all
we do
that.
with that equipment?
They're gonna see,
With it?
really, it's kind of up in the air right now. They just need to get our passwords and all those things to really know what they're getting into. Because you can't see it until they really get all the stuff. Hopefully, it's an easy, seamless process getting those passwords and things from LMT. But they have said that with other companies, it has been a challenge, so. Oh, we're positive. We do have a good relationship with them. We've been with them for a long time. It's just,
Should they buy that 30%?
They don't have any
They don't have any?
Oh, we don't know.
Equipment.
The village owns it.
No, we've got it. Right.
In fact, if you, in the AYS thing, they actually complimented that, I think the server they said was
Yeah.
really good and the rack that it was in. and
yeah.
They said, there's really, the equipment that the village has is.
Tops.
but
Well,
then someone's getting a new laptop as part of the proposal.
I knew Heather snuck
I
something
don't
in there.
know. whose
Not me,
laptop-
I'm not, this is
I don't know
staying.
whose laptop that is.
It's for the system, I think, so when they come in, that's what they work on.
Well, and that is something too that they'll go over, but LMT didn't really communicate well about the fact that once the new Windows system, a lot of the computers will need to be replaced, unfortunately. So that's gonna be a cost in the next budget. About
It's like $400 a month less.
But they've been taxing.
Like it.
Yeah,
What their proposal is,
yeah.
about 8,000, maybe more, at least the first year.
The writing's been on the wall for a while with LMT, they've been knowing we're not happy with the fee structure, so. And it was a perfect storm, you guys said, okay, can you try again to find another company? I happened to be over at Greg's Maplewood and asked him, and it was just great timing, so hopefully it works out.
Good work, Heather.
Thank you.
That
So-
means well.
Between now and next meeting, take a look at this, bring your questions, and they'll be here to answer.
Thank you.
All right, moving to then the business as scheduled. First of all, we have a resolution to approve the minutes from January 9th. If you,
I think I started the pledge before you, though.
Your buyers led the pledge.
Is it not
you
my place?
started though. Oh, well, maybe we could do that to Cole.
Yeah,
I think I forgot to do 2 trustees, then let me make that change.
I'm good with that, just kidding.
If there are no
I'll make it.
comments,
I'll second.
Trustee Alito?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Lauer?
Aye.
Mayor Byers?
aye.
Motion passes.
The claims and warrants are next. I had the opportunity to look through these and sign them today.
Yeah, thank you.
There are some relatively large items in here, but they have been budgeted for, such as the truck. And maybe some of you have seen it out there in the garage. We have our new truck.
Yep.
The larger bills and sewer have to do with what's going on there and the work that's being done, and that's moving along. So, I found nothing that I was asked about. Jerry, any
Oh,
concerns?
well, like I said, when I saw the bottom line, I was like, whoa. But obviously, it was over $1 million+.
And some of those big ticket items such as the truck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the big,
Yep, I agree.
we need it.
All right, can I ask for a motion to approve?
That's the one that's broken down right now.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Lauer?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Alito?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next, we have a resolution to approve budget modifications. And I would go down and read through these, replacing a small loader, already budgeted $30K to cover financing, and instead chose to use unreserved fund balance. The total truck purchase is $200,000, trade-in of $59,000, which I think is great. Final purchase price then $140,900. So we're looking at taking from fund balance and moving to vehicles, $110,900. Insurance rates higher than budgeted, moving $3,500 from workers' comp to insurance, $3,500. E-code maintenance, safety inspection equipment, moving $1,195 from that line to computer hardware, software, maintenance, and support. Next, we have TVs for the small meeting room and boardroom and table. And that's the reason. That was from the budget of White Christmas to our meeting broadcast, $1,800. Small meeting room downstairs in Village Hall now has on the wall a smaller TV. We have, of course, our large TVs in here, which I think allows for the public to look and see what's going on in a much better way than we had before.
Yes.
Various tree removals from the village, moving from engineering, $13,000 to tree removal trimming. Unemployment through health insurance, moving from their $2,300 to unemployment insurance. Workers' comp, we're moving from workers' comp to insurance, $178. In terms of a rounding error, installment purchase on debt interest, 16 cents. And from installment purchase debt principal, we are putting in 16 cents. And the reason we next have the town of Webster invoice from 2020 through 2024. And that is switched from town to our own permits, testing, and to cover the rest of the fiscal year. And this was for sledge hauling. They did not bill us in those years, and we to just recently moving from $20,000 in sludge hauling to, and building maintenance to lab testing, $40,000. So those are budget mods. We're disappointed with the last one that we only got
Yeah.
to build and during those years, but that's the way it is. So I would ask for a motion to approve these mods.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Trustee Abolito?
Aye.
Trustee Lauer?
Yep.
Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. That would conclude our regular board business at the moment. Now I would move to, I guess, next we have, I'm going to do it out of order here. I'm going to move to code enforcement. Chris,
All right.
we have a
Yeah.
significant report from you, and that's great. So if you want to tell us about it,
About that.
go.
Yeah, we did 8 applications, 4 CMOs and 7 CFCs, and there was no ZBA meeting in December.
I have a list of those who
That's a credit mark.
made applications for building permits. Looks like Pride Mark is moving along.
Yeah, they're gonna move it. So we were doing some year-end budget stuff, and I think the last couple of years, they did about 30 a year. So,
I know they've asked for a release, and we did that, I think, recently, but moving into, looking at phase 4, right?
Yep, that just got approved at the last CBA meeting. So, yes.
What's it, Pink Collar Society? I see that. What do they do there? What is?
She's like an esthetician, pretty much everything but nails, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they don't have like the nail stations, but she'll do like facials and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I don't have a lot of experience in that. So, I can't speak to it personally.
All right.
You sure?
Yeah.
Glowing skin.
Yeah.
And I think the bakery on the corner,
Just, we're doing their final tomorrow, well, final walkthrough, hopefully it'll pass. Sure it will.
that'd be good.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
That'll be-
Ukrainian bakery, so.
Yes.
interesting to hear- see what
Nice
they have
Ukrainian
inside.
bakery. Yeah.
Got better than that Bill's store was over there.
You're gonna get in
Down here,
trouble.
they
Don just gave me the,
They would like
what's the Jets doing this weekend? Come on, just give it to me.
a whole lot
I
of
would hope
love.
that, I would hope that even the Jet fan and Dolphin fan on the board would be pulling for their fellow AFC East team this coming
Yes.
Sunday, and not those despicable Kansas City Chiefs.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, it's terrible. I sit in my
Plead the
living
fifth.
room all by myself yelling at the television.
Oh,
Oh my God, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good, Don. That's all I got to say.
Right.
My dad went
And
to the
believe me,
game.
if there was like a store that sold Jet paraphernalia in the village, it wouldn't even open because the demand would be so low that.
It wouldn't.
All right, I set myself up.
They gave all,
You asked for it.
I gave
it all
You
away,
did,
right?
you did.
Yeah, you'd have to give it away.
they took it down to Holy Trinity.
All right, next. Others need to eat dinner yet.
All right,
I do, I'm hungry.
Don, anything that you'd like to present to the board other than go Bills?
I did, earlier in the week, I got, as part of the dedication of Orchard and Panama Street, I got from the Xerox's attorney the title commitment, because they were gonna, part of the deal was they're gonna purchase title insurance for the roadways for the village, and, but I just want to clarify that is the intention of this board not to take dedication until the environmental easement. The DEC has an environmental easement on the entire Xerox property that restricts any development, prohibits any residential development on any of their property. So they're trying to get that released, at least as far as the West Campus, the Orchard and Panama and Phillips around. So does the board not want to take dedication until that happens?
Is Xerox looking to petition?
They're in the process of doing it. I don't know where in the process they are, but
Can we find out?
it would be my recommendation not to take dedication until it's been
Yeah.
released. Because if they can only develop it for industrial uses, is it really ever gonna get redeveloped?
Yeah.
And then and if it doesn't get redeveloped, why does the village wanna take dedication of those roads?
That's
Yeah.
what I thought
I
exactly.
completely agree.
Right,
Yeah.
I agree.
So he did say, ideally, the environmental easement would be released to the road, prior to dedication of the roadways. I don't know what he means by ideally, but, so I guess that leaves some room that maybe they're gonna see if the village will take it before it gets released. But I think we should hold out, frankly, to provide Xerox with some incentive to get it released.
I agree.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
you
No,
take
what we say
dedication
now.
and,
Yeah, no.
Right, and then it takes,
right, and now they don't
the
have.
reason why we are taking it is to open up hopefully that area for development, I think.
But for a,
Right,
industrial, commercial, and residential uses.
Exactly.
Okay.
Agreed.
And the other thing, generally, title insurance, the amount of insurance is based on the value of the land and buildings upon which it's being insured. Xerox put it at $35,000, so I asked Matt, well, where'd you come up with $35,000? And his response was, that was the most efficient value, or something like that Chicago Title Insurance Company offered Xerox. At $35,000, the premium's only $288 that Xerox would be paying. But I would guess that the roadways are worth more than $35,000. I have no clue what they're worth. But he did say, hey, if you have another number, let us know, and he'll go back to the Xerox business people to see what, in that, the agreement that the village and the town and Xerox entered into about the roadways, it did provide that they were gonna provide title insurance, but we didn't put an amount in there. So they came up with the $35,000 by themselves. So, which would mean, if there were ever some issue with the title to the roadways, the most that the village could collect from the insurance would be $35,000, even though your damages could be a lot more than that.
Jake, you had experience, I have not, in terms of, having a road, whatever, put in, into public. And had this, where there's a title insurance that goes along with it?
Most recent ones I can think of, and I'm just surprised because it's the Pride Mark, the Greenbrier Crossing where we had Auto Leaf Trail, took dedication a couple of years ago. I don't recall
No, they didn't provide any title insurance.
there's a maintenance bond on because they're brand new roads, there's a maintenance bond on the roads, but not the title insurance. Now, is the title insurance on the improvements as well as general land?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's if there were an issue as far as someone claiming title adverse to the village, or a problem with one of the easements or something that would interfere with the public use of the roadways. And it has nothing to do with the cost of maintaining the roads. So I don't know. I just was curious as to where they came up with $35,000, and I think they just plucked that out of the blue so that their premium was only $288. But, I don't know how many acres the roadways are. If you were to try to buy it, I doubt Xerox would want to sell it to somebody for $35,000. But,
Yeah, I'd have to see how many of these, right away by, Orchard Street. I'd have to look it up and you can measure it for certainly and figure it out what.
Now, Don, this is seemingly just a one time.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
it covers on
As long as the village owns the roads, it goes forever. You know, it's not that big a deal, you know, in the title commitment. Yeah, I didn't have the benefit of looking at an abstract of title to see where Xerox acquired title, but they basically got title to all their land in 3 different deeds. I forget the name of the families, back in the 50s, where they bought most of it. There is a deed in the early 60s from the village to Xerox. But I didn't look up those, you know, I didn't look up the history, because they didn't give me an abstract. That's probably why they're willing to spend $280,000 just give the title insurance. Because if there is a problem, then, you know, the title insurance, at least up to $35,000, they'll deal with it. But the only real issue is that environmental easement. Because there's a site management plan, which I don't know if you've ever seen, Jake, have you ever seen it? It's what Xerox imposed on Xerox, and it's incorporated into all the restrictions in the site management plan are incorporated into the easement. I haven't seen it, this site management plan, so I'm not exactly sure what all the restrictions are, but if they release that portion of Xerox's property from it, it's not an issue. Right. I'm not exactly sure why the DEC was kind of a little bit of overkill on the DEC's part, because most of the environmental problems were more towards Salt Road than over by Phillips Road, but still they put this environmental easement on all of Xerox's land.
And I don't understand that at all.
I would agree that
Yeah.
we wait.
All right, well, I'll let them know that.
I think we're still waiting on
Yeah.
moving forward in terms of Mitchell Dean, because right now, there's still a gap in terms of the money needed to move forward with that, taking Mitchell Dean and renovating it until some entity comes up other than the village in terms of providing that. I think that's going to hold them up. Because it's really not to our benefit.
They want it as low as possible because they're paying the premium.
Okay, so we will wait on that, Don, and let them know. Anything else?
No, other than Go Bills.
Sorry, Jerry.
Now, that is not politically correct in doing so.
Oh.
There you go.
And
You know, Don.
I'm not sure why Kansas City, they still allow that
I
there.
know.
Haters are gonna hate, you know?
Okay, moving on. Clerk's office. No? Well, how about DPW and sewer?
Jason's gonna say I have nothing.
You gotta have something, so Peter has got at least to hear something.
It's snowing,
Yeah.
this year, more than we've had the last few years combined so far. Just want to thank the guys, they've been doing a great job, keeping the roads clear, so. it's in nasty environments. We also got today a revised incentive proposal from the Empire State Development for that $1.8 million grant. If you remember, it was something Matt was working on, where he proposed, we had the project proposal, original project proposal that was a little more robust. This shrunk the project down, but the grant amount stayed the same, so basically you get a higher percentage. This is what we were hoping for and asking for, so they approved it. So I wanted to see if we can get it out for the next meeting, authorize the mayor to sign it and down to review, but get it on for the next meeting so everybody can, we've got an email so we can send it around too, so everybody can look at it.
Good.
Any questions? I think that's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow. The other guys are doing a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, Main Street looks really good, after the cleanup.
With just the sidewalks and everything around,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, they're doing a good job.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have anything?
I just want to thank Carl and Jody for helping me clean my car off. Because I park over at the museum and I have to go out and start the car. And these two drove by and saw me, they said, no, don't you do that, we're gonna,
That was very nice of you, but that is not village business, we got.
I don't give a damn.
That's on after we close the meeting.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh,
Carl, very nice.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I had snow on mine too.
But
there's one thing I forgot.
Oh,
I'll have to set up a roof.
you're getting older, you know that, Jake?
It
Forgot.
was just go Bills.
Whatever.
All right. Well, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
second.
Second by Al, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Peter, nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Actually, I really came to talk to the three of you. So we have a money before you leave. Can you give me 5 minutes of your time?
Wait, hold on one sec.
That's for you.
1% haircut.